What if I told you one of my favorite devices of the year, the RG35XX SP, had a little sibling that is smaller, roughly the same price, and maybe even a little bit smarter? Well, that's exactly what we've got here with the Anbernic RG34XX SP. It's about 50 bucks, and it might be the best all-around bang for your buck flip handheld in 2025. But is it actually worth it, or is it just riding the clamshell wave? Let's crack it open and find out right after this. Hey fam, Swatitu Kongkra Pinik here, and before we dive deep, here's a quick refresher on how I rate my handhelds using our 0 to 69 scale. Each device gets scored on 7 main categories: unboxing, internals, first impressions, ease of use, customizability, controls, and value. After that, I'll hit you with the average score and give you the top pros and cons of the device itself, as well as who should consider picking it up and who should consider passing on it. Are you ready? Let's go. So let's get started with the unboxing experience. Of course, the first thing you're going to ask is, what does the box look like? If you didn't see my unboxing video, well, it comes with a nice glossy image of the yellow device, which just happens to be the device that I chose to order as well. And other than that, you can see it's a very minimalistic box with an indication of the 4 colors: yellow, DMG gray, black, and indigo. If you're wondering what DMG gray means, it's basically the color of the original Game Boy. And that's really it on the outside of the box. But it is a nice sturdy box that should not fall apart in a couple months. So I appreciate that they gave us a good sturdy box. Inside of it, you'll find a nice device inside of the tray. And underneath that tray, you get a nice quality manual with not too much verbiage, but just enough to get you going if you're new to Anbernic. And you also get the tempered glass screen protector, which I'm not going to fault them, because some devices that cost 5 times as much as this device don't come with a screen protector. And inside of this box, you get a USB-A to USB-C cable if you don't have any of those laying around. Just a friendly reminder, this device does not include a fast charger. And is not capable of fast charging. So don't use your phone's fast charger. Use a charging cable from 10 plus years ago that will slowly charge your device, or else it won't charge it at all. So all things considered, it feels pretty premium, especially for this price point. It doesn't scream luxury by any means, but again, for $50 US, you get way more than expected. So I give them a score of 40 out of 69 points. Now let's dig into the internals, the specs that power the experience for you. The H700 CPU and GPU combo is a stalwart within the XX line for Anbernic, which is great for PS1 and PSP level games with an occasional dip below 60 frames per second, but still should be a rock solid gaming experience for you. This is the first XX line device to come with 2 GB of RAM, and that's LPDDR4 RAM, which is again great for streaming, and they like to keep your device flowing nice and smoothly. And you get dual band Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz band, great for streaming, online play, multiplayer, scraping of box art, and all of the alike. You get a single mono speaker that's loud and clear, but don't expect any bass thumping on your device by any means. You get dual micro SD card slots, and this will allow you to have the OS on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you're able to put your favorite games and ROMs, movies, ebooks, and the like on there without any issue. The device does feature a 3300 milliamp hour battery, which should give you an approximate 6-hour runtime, and the sleep is really nice because it automatically detects it just like it does on the RG34XX SP. That puts it to sleep, and then whenever you open it up, it wakes it back up. So I appreciate that. Makes it easy for you if you're on the go and you just want to be able to play during the spurts of free time you have, like during a lunch break and waiting for a bus, for example. It does support 2.4 GHz band Bluetooth controllers, so you are able to use wireless controllers with it, as well as through the OTG port, also connect to them. You have TV out, which I appreciate, not just a USB-C port, but a micro HDMI, so it's a dedicated port for video out. There is Rumble for games that support Rumble, and it does support streaming because, again, you have Moonlight built into the device. The device is approximately 3 3.25 inches by 3.23 inches, of course, when closed, and it's just under an inch top to bottom. So highly pocketable device. That said, it's not overall powerhouse of specs by any means, but more than enough for the average retro crowd. So I'd give it again a solid 40 out of 69 also for internals. Now let's move on to the next category, first impression. How does it feel right out of the box, you may be asking? Well, it feels like a retro but fresh device all at the same time. It's easy to pass around and people instantly fall in love with it, from the ribbed texture on the back to the Game Boy Advance SP aesthetic. Even people that didn't grow up in this era of handheld gaming instantly fall in love with it whenever I present it to them. The yellow variant really pops visually, which is I'm sure why they chose to put it on the outside of the box. It comes ready with games and a screen protector, free to apply if you wish. The only thing missing was a power adapter in the box. It hits hard in the first few minutes in your hand. It feels like opening a toy on Christmas in the best way possible, which is why I give this 55 out of 69 for first impressions. Now I'm sure you're asking, how easy is it to use? How beginner friendly is it? I'd say it's so intuitive that I even passed it to a Luddite that hasn't used a handheld since the original Game Boy, and they were launching games within a minute. Sleep mode is just simple. Close the lid, it goes to sleep. Open up the lid and it wakes back up. Has language support out of the box for English, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. Sadly, even though I'm in Thailand, there's no Thai support, so hopefully you're comfortable enough gaming in one of those languages. The booting and the navigation process is just plug and play for the average user. So again, user-friendly to the max in all the best ways. This thing is grandpa proof. So that's why I give it a 64 out of 69. Now, it's a brand new device, as was the Powkiddy device that I just reviewed last week. With that said, customizability is an important thing. We went over with the Powkiddy that it was a brand new device and it didn't have a lot of customizability options yet, but we'll probably be having them coming soon. So what about this guy? Well, one of the great things about this guy is that it's already compatible with Rocknix, as you saw loading up. It already has MuOS and Newly and Alpha builds, so you're able to do that. And there are upgrades to the stock OS that you can also make to make it even customizable if you love the stock OS but you want additional features out of the device. There are already cases from Anbernic, and there are accessories such as hand grips and replaceable buttons on Etsy, as you can see on the screen. I checked. I don't have an actual gauge to make sure 100% accurately, but the buttons feel the same. So you can use the RG35XX SP buttons and they should be swappable. So if you want to have PlayStation looking buttons or just a bejeweled red looking button, for example, you could, or green, what have you. I personally would be interested in picking up one of the grips. So just be aware, they're not exactly the same, as this is less wide than the 35XX SP. So you can't use the same skins unless they're naturally a little narrow because the difference in the width of the devices. But because we already have one custom firmware in hand, we have others in alpha, and the mod scene is already giving us controller grips and the alike, I can't help but give this device a 64 out of 69 for customizability. Now, a controller is good and all, but how good are the controls? Because controls make or break a device. Well, this device has the same clicky style buttons as most Anbernic devices do, including the RG35XX SP. Some love it, some don't. So again, it's up to you whether that's going to be a deal breaker or not. For me, I'm indifferent on it as long as I'm not trying to play in bed next to someone late at night or playing something quiet like a library. I don't mind. The buttons do have good travel though and excellent responsiveness, and the thumbsticks register even on classic 2D games like Super Mario Brothers and Game Boy titles, which I find is a big win because I actually like the way that that operates and feels. So for me, the controls are a solid 45 out of 69. Solid and responsive, but you'll hear every move you make except for the times that you're using the sticks. So for a device like this, great controls, great screen for the era and that type of thing is great, but what kind of value are you getting? Well, as I mentioned, it's about $50 US, and that includes like extras like the screen protector, a quality manual with strong internals for the price, Wi-Fi, Rumble, and online streaming all baked into one device. It's a better out-of-box package than many $100 handheld. For that reason, this is where the device really shines and it punches way above its weight, so I have to give it a 60 out of 69. So if we put it all together, for unboxing, they got a 40. For internals, another 40. With first impressions, I gave them a 55. Ease of use, I gave them a 64 out of 69. Customizability, another 64 out of 69. With controls, a 45 out of 69. And value, 60 out of 69. which brings us to an average score of 53 out of 69, which makes this a very strong all-around contender with room to grow as the modding community gets around it and really starts developing for it. So as we look at that, let's take into consideration the top pros of this device. Again, first, I'd have to give it the extra value for the money. It feels like it should be a lot more than $50, like $75, $80. So I'm not going to complain with the pricing that Anbernic has chosen here. It already has great custom firmware support, and it's only going to get better as they continue to get those firmwares out of the alpha state and into the current builds. The sleep mode with the Hall sensing magnets is the third one that I'd have to go with. Just close the lid and it goes to sleep, open it back up, and you're ready to go right where you left off. And again, it is a beginner-friendly UI. Whether you're new to the game or you've been using it for a while, you'll know how to pick it up and start playing it right away. Sadly, there are going to be cons with any device, and first and foremost, I have to bring up the clicky buttons, because I know for some, a clicky button like Anbernic is famous for can be a deal breaker. So I have to bring that up as the first con. Number two, there's no wall adapter included in the box. Again, it is quite thin, so that's understandable. But again, since most of us now have fast chargers, it would be kind of nice if Anbernic included even a cheap slow charger in the box just to make sure everyone can charge their device. I would love it if this device had a stereo speaker, but the mono speaker does have good quality. I just want to again mention that there's not going to be any stereo separation since there's only a mono speaker and there's really no bass in it. Maybe a little bit if you pay really close attention, but the average person, you're not going to be hearing any bass. There's slight accessory limitations right now. Unlike the RG35XX SP that's been out for quite a bit longer, it's just starting to get the ball rolling. But again, you can already get a grip if you want it to feel like you're using a console controller in your hand, and Anbernic already has a case for it. It comes with a screen protector, so it has a lot of things that most people would be looking for. So I'm sure you're wondering, who is it for and who should skip over it? Well, first and foremost, I'd say the budget gamer should consider it. Someone that wants strong features, but they don't want to break their bank, they should be definitely looking for this device, as around $50 US without the extra memory cards really makes it beginner friendly. And somebody that's a customization addict should be looking for this, because if you love tinkering with firmware and hardware, this is going to be a great device now and in the near future as the modding community gets really behind it. So who should skip over it for the time being? Somebody that's an audiophile, unless they have a 3.5mm headphone jack headset or they have a great pair of Bluetooth headphones, I would skip over it because the onboard speaker is nothing special. And late night gamers or quiet gamers, people that need to be able to play quietly, whether again late night in bed or at a library, for example, you don't want to be playing this because I've already been told that the buttons are clicky in those quiet sessions. So that's the Anbernic RG34XX SP. It's small in size, big on charm, and a surprisingly deep feature set for under $60 US. Whether it's your next travel buddy or a starter device for your collection, it has definitely earned a spot in the clamshell conversation. What do you think though? Your opinion is what matters, because I built this channel for you. Is it worth it or not? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, this has been P-Nick.